Hi, good morning. I'm glad to be here. My name is Gina Boyd. I'm with Sandy Hook Promise, and I'm going to be talking to you today about Say Something. We'll be talking about things that make our school safe, and when we have things we worry about with other students, may they be threats, or may they be just warning signs, what those are, examples of what they could be, and when you know about them, who you can go to as a trusted adult. We'll also talk about our anonymous reporting system that you will be available to use in a short period of time. You'll learn how to protect yourself, your classmates, your community from shootings, violence, suicide, any kind of harmful act simply by being who you are, the eyes and ears of your school, and by saying something. Before we get into the steps of the warning sign, I want to let you know the personal reason why this is important to me, why I'm here, and why I do what I do. I think most people now, in this present day, have some kind of connection to a threat that's happened at their school, or someone who's tried to or has actually harmed themselves. This is my daughter. Her name's Aaliyah. She's over here on the right with her best friend Alira. She and Alira were in middle school and high school together. They were in band and dear friends. This was taken at Aaliyah's birthday party when she was with us and our family. And that happened less than a year before she died by suicide on January 12th, 2018. Needless to say, it took us all by immense shock and horror. Alira was top of her class. She was only 13 years of age, freshman in high school. She played 3 instruments, spoke 3 languages. And at the time, we couldn't think of any signs that were exemplified that might have tipped us off that she could potentially hurt herself. Looking back on it, we now know. And although it's something that we can't go back and change, it's something from this point forward that my daughter, as a Safe Club member at her school, and I as her Safe Club advisor, and working with Sandy Hook Promise, want to work every day to teach young people what those warning signs are, what possible threats could be out there existing, and what you can do individually to help. So I'm going to ask for some participation from you all today because it's important that you get these 3 simple steps. The first one you see up here is look for warning signs and threats. And I want you to say that with me, okay? Ready? Look for warning signs and threats. Hey, that sounds pretty good. The second one is simple too. Act immediately, take it seriously. Say it with me. Act immediately, take it seriously. All right, guys, you're still sounding good. I do want a little bit more energy there. Let's see if we can say it a little louder. Act immediately, take it seriously. Oh, that's much better, much better. And 3, super simple, say something. Ready? Say something. Excellent. That's the whole point of our message. That's the whole point of our program, is for you to say something. The first thing I want to say, and I hope I remember to repeat it later on, is that although violence in our schools is growing, the majority, if not all of our schools, are safe. I see our school resource officer, Officer New, back there. He is an integral part of your school. He works to know who you are and what's going on with you as students of this school, and with teachers and faculty and administration as well. When I came in this morning, I had to check in with the person at the gate, report to the office, fill out my name tag, and do all the appropriate work to show that I'm a visitor on campus. I look around at the different security measures and the positive messages that you have, and I commend you. Your school feels safe. I feel safe being here. But that doesn't mean that nothing happens. I think we all know that there are rumors and arguments and fights. Bullying is present in every school. They're not immune. No school is immune to problems that can escalate, that can build with individuals, and potentially a threat may arise that could put you and others in harm's way. 1 in every 5 students report being bullied. I want you to look 2 people down to your left. I want you to look 2 people over to your right. Hey, that's 5 of you right there. 1 of the 5 of you has been a victim of bullying. Guess what, though? That means that 2/5 of you were probably not even the bully, nor the bullier, or being bullied. You were just an innocent bystander. About 78% of students are bystanders. We like to call you upstanders because you're going to be the ones that look for issues, look for problems. And instead of just letting them happen and silently walking by or saying nothing, you're going to intercede and you're going to stand up for what's right. Maybe not right then on the spot, but by going to a trusted adult or using later on the anonymous reporting system we'll talk about. We also see things that don't happen at school. We have these phones, a social media presence most of us have. This is a 24/7 occurrence. When I was in school, we left, we went home, and the greatest technology that existed in my time other than the phone on the wall with the cord was the cordless phone, or caller ID, or the feature to call someone back, answering machines. Basically, when we left school, we left our problems behind us, and things in the past stayed in the past. Problems tend to trail us a lot of times with the advent of social media and those platforms. And we can see things that people are putting up not just as threats, but in communicating ways that they're hurting. 1 in 6 students consider suicide seriously. I've already told you about our friend Alira, and for my daughter, she overextends this number now. Suicide is the 2nd leading cause of death among young people 13 to age 25, second only to automobile accidents now. So we all know someone who has seriously thought about harming themselves, such as this individual. These are real posts. Names are protected, identities are protected. And although we've talked about your school being safe, school shootings are on the rise. Where we used to communicate years, 1997 was Heath High School shooting, or 1999 Columbine, or 2018 Parkland, we now refer to them in collective numbers. 33 school shootings on average per year. And sadly, that number more than likely is increasing. We are going to distinguish today between what may be a warning sign that someone might hurt themselves or that someone might hurt others, which in this regard would be considered a threat. And as always, we have reportable criminal acts. 79% of schools report things not just in terms of threats or bullying, but property damage in the parking lot, stolen items, stolen electronics, technological equipment, damage to the school. These are all reportable criminal acts, and they too carry with them penalty and fear among our students. This is a kid named Samuel, and his buddy told him, yeah, it's a nice new phone, you might want to keep it in your pocket. Don't flash it around too much. This kid's showing off his new phone in math class. That phone will be mine after school. Again, though, there is good news, and we're here to talk about how you can be part of the good news and learning what warning signs are, being the eyes and ears of your school, and reporting things that concern you to appropriate individuals. And we know this because 87% of school shooters planned their attacks. They left notes, they left writings, they left messages online. They included others in their plans or tried to recruit them in their plans. So when we look at this statistic, we know that the signs are there. We just need to know and commit to memory what they are and say something when we see them. 70% of people who die by suicide tell someone their plans or show some other warning sign, which we'll talk about, such as doing something special with someone, reaching out and saying something directly, or giving away a personal possession. 37% of threats of violence are sent electronically. Again, in an age where we have electronics at our disposal and we have the internet in our homes, in our schools, everywhere we go, then it's easy to communicate this information electronically. So again, the three things that we're going to talk about was say something today. And I want you to remember this as you go, so I want you to say these with me. 1, look for warning signs and threats. Say it again. Look for warning signs and threats. Great. 2, act immediately. Take it seriously. Say it with me. Act immediately. Take it seriously. And 3, the easiest one, say something. Give it to me with energy. Say something. That's right. Because we know that you can reduce the violence in your schools. We know that by doing so, you're going to learn these threats and the consequences that can happen if we don't report them. And you are going to say something, therefore making your school safer, your community safer, and ultimately you safer. So number 1, look for warning signs and threats. What are these signs, these early warning signs and threats? Well, a warning sign is a thought or feeling, an action, a type of behavior or significant change in behavior that an individual may show or exhibit. It's really like a cry for help. Something that in your heart, or as we say in your gut, you just get an off feeling about. Something's just not quite right. And we're not talking about changes or these signs over just over a short period of time. We're talking about maybe more or one of these signs over several days, weeks, or longer. So this is a lot of significant change in an individual or individuals over an extended period of time. One of these can be withdrawal from others. Today I'm going to use a student named Andy. Andy's just going to be my go-to student for these examples. Andy always would sit with a group of about 4 or 5 people, and they've noticed that Andy doesn't show up for lunch anymore. And in fact, it took a while to figure out even where Andy was. Was Andy sick? No. Andy was eating back up against the brick wall outside of F building. And so it didn't really make sense. There had been no disagreement, no argument, but it was clear that Andy was pulling away from her daily routine, from her activities, from her friends that she socialized with. Bullying or hitting. Maybe Andy was just the happiest, easiest, friendliest person that you knew, but Andy started to become angry, combative, and maybe even acting out in other ways of aggression or exclusion, intimidation, which are all forms of bullying. Andy has been hanging out with some kids who've been known for some criminal activities, some drug and alcohol use. That's not typical of Andy, not the same people that Andy normally hung around with. So changes in who they're associated with, and a lot of times negative role models. Excessive anger. And of course we all have feelings of anger, and we're not talking about, somebody says something and maybe it sets you off a time or two. This is over a period of time where they just seem very moody or angry significantly over time. Extreme mood changes, from really big highs to really low lows in short periods of time. And again, it's significant, it's noticeable to several people. Feelings of rejection. Maybe they're warranted feelings of rejection. Maybe they're ones they've more manifested among themselves. Maybe it's from the withdrawal that they've placed upon themselves, but significantly feeling like they're not wanted or they don't want to be around others. Thoughts or plans of harming themselves or others. Verbalizing those. Maybe even if they're self-harming and cutting, that you can see that they're visible. Blames others for their own failures. Maybe coming to class unprepared or without work. And when that being questioned, that it's always the fault of what's going on at home or excessive work from the teacher, but never taking blame themselves. Maybe there's fear of daily activity like going to school. They don't want to go anywhere. Or maybe there's something bad happening to them on the bus and they want to stay away from that. Not willing to let go when something has gone wrong. Maybe forgiving someone else or not being willing to let go of past wrongdoings. Big personality changes. We talked about Andy was a sweet, happy-go-lucky person, had a good core group of friends. She is pulled away from them. She seems down, depressed, oftentimes angry. She's isolated herself, not just from her group, but from any other social activities. Maybe she's stopped playing basketball or quit the team. Maybe also she's changed how her physical appearance is. I can say for Alira, it was the darkness of the winter. It was right after the holidays. And it was the week of exams, right before exams. And she always was a person who prided herself in her hair and her makeup and her clothing. And there were times that she seemed like she was just struggling to get out of bed and get to school. These were some of the things that students have put into place after the fact, looking at some of the signs now. Giving away of possessions. You know, it's hard for a 13-year-old to have a lot of possessions. But I can say that in the few hours before Alira's death, she reached out to my daughter. She texted several people. My daughter cherishes a hair barrette that she gave her for her birthday. And that, in some ways, can be looked at her possessions being distributed. Fascination by suicide. Maybe thinking of characters, Romeo and Juliet stories, where suicide is included. A rigid belief system. Maybe this could come from someone who was raised with rigid beliefs, but they're unrelenting in considering the thoughts or beliefs of other people. Maybe they have access to guns and they brag about it and they talk about it excessively. They have a general fascination with weapons, drawing pictures of weapons, looking up information about weapons, how to put together weapons. It just seems that they are obsessed with the idea of weapons. A fascination with school shootings and how the shooter was motivated and the plans that the shooter may have had. Fascination with writings and drawings related to death. Talking to other friends to let them know about if they were to have an attack or a plan of action for a school bombing or shooting, and if there are others similar to them that would want to join them in what they're doing or planning. Warning a friend, either in person or on social media or in writing, to stay away from school on a specific date. Bragging about something upcoming. So what's the difference between these warnings? Some of these warning signs that we just saw, fascination with weapons or school shootings or death, almost sound like a threat. Well, threats are when a person actually communicates an intent to harm themselves or others. So there's actually something that they say they are going to do, such as somebody should do that here. If they're referring to maybe a news event with a school shooting or a deadly type event. Someone should blow this place up, giving the suggestion that maybe they would be the ones or someone else they know. Life isn't worth living. Great depression, sadness in tone, wanting to end their life. I'm going to take her and her friends out. And I really don't think that's a guy who's going to get to take several girls out somewhere for dinner. This is someone who is planning something menacing to another student. You'd be better off without me. They will regret the day they met me. So these are examples more of what threats are in relation to warning signs. What about where they occur? Where do we see these warning signs or these threats? Anywhere and everywhere. We've talked about them being on social media. We've talked about them being online. But again, I keep saying this, you are the eyes and ears of the school. You're the community watch program of your community, which is your school. So they're going to be from the bus to the cafeteria to the media center, at sporting events, in your classroom, outside of school, at social gatherings. And again, keep alluding to social media, because it's such an ever-present part of your life, my life, everyone's life. Rebecca is so fake. Can't wait to wipe that stupid smile off her face. I'm ready to cut up some people at my lame school. #bleed. None of this is worth it. I'm doing it tonight. And having in place, if you do see this when you're at home, since we've lost a student at our school close to us in our family, and we've started and worked hard at a Safe Promise Club, which we'll talk about later. Sometimes, as an advisor and my daughter as a founding member of the club, people reach out to us to say, hey, did you see this online? I saw this. What do you think about this? And in a way, they're reporting and saying something, even though it's to a fellow student. But my daughter as a student and I as a parent volunteer advisor, we need to know who to go to. That's why we need to have contact information for an administrator on hand, for a reputable teacher, or our school resource officer that we can contact, as well as our anonymous reporting system, which we're going to get to. The more I cut, the less it hurts. You know, sometimes on some of our social media platforms, things pop up and they disappear almost just as quickly. That happens a lot on Snapchat. It's good if you do see something and it's concerning, whether it's something that later on you figure out, hey, I've worked through that with them or with their mom or with my mom, but screenshot it, keep it, because anything that you can go to with evidence supporting what you've heard is always valuable and important. All you losers better get ready to run tomorrow. I'm going to blow you all away. #bullseye. These are all real and clear examples of threats and some of them warning signs to a dangerous, possibly deadly situation that you need to take note of and report. Y'all thought I was playing. I wouldn't come to school tomorrow if I were you. It's not just about violence or suicide or someone who may hurt themselves or an incident at your school either. You may also be able to say something to help a person who is being physically verbally or mentally abused by someone in their life. There also may be someone who is dealing with substance abuse, alcohol abuse, or someone in their family that is doing that, that's putting them in harm's way or at risk, their safety at risk. You may even know someone who has other mental health issues or physical issues, such as eating disorders. There's all sorts of ways that you can use the steps of Say Something to reach out and help people in any kind of unsafe situation. You can also help people who are being bullied or people who are doing the bullying to intercept what's going on there. You may also help someone, especially online. Young people especially, tend to not realize the dangers on social media. They may put too much of a revealing photo of themselves out there. And maybe you've noticed they have a follower by a name you don't recognize. There's nothing to say that they're not a 60-year-old sexual predator out there who is trolling this individual and hoping to maybe find a way to meet up with them at a later point in time. This one, Locker Room, Perks, $5. I'm so high right now. Popped a few. Somebody has responded on here, scary, lay off, for real. So someone is interceding with this post. They're speaking up and saying something, but it may not be enough. More than likely it is not enough, and we need to know the right trusted adult to say this to. Report it. Show this image. My dad is drinking again and just told me I'm worthless. I can't take it anymore. It's endless. Someone is saying, OMG, Katie, no. This is a cry for help. It's a warning sign. It's something that we do need to take seriously and report. We don't know the story with Katie. We don't know the story with any of these individuals. Even someone who may be an attention seeker, you never know when it's going to be a time when they follow through with something they are threatening, or that's a warning sign for them. It's always better to be safe than sorry. So that's why we've got to act immediately, take it seriously. Hey, say that again with me. Act immediately, take it seriously. When should you act? When you see something or you read something, you know now it's a warning sign or a threat, you should do it immediately. You should go to someone and seek help. What keeps us, though, from holding back or reconsidering if we should act immediately, delaying acting immediately? Well, we all talked to him, and he said he would never do it again. We don't know that for sure. We have to be careful. I thought someone else would tell him. Maybe you have a friend who seems more mature, more responsible. You've made them aware of it, and you think you've taken care of it. But until it's told to a teacher, an administrator, a counselor, school resource officer, you can't know that for sure. I thought they would feel better tomorrow. It's late at night. Everybody's emotional. We'll just wait and hold off, and I'll see them tomorrow and talk to them, I'm sure. These are all things that you really can't take the risk of. They're too young to hurt themselves or anyone else. Alira was 13. She'd been so smart she'd skipped a grade. She was a freshman in high school in January of that year and still was only 13 years of age. We don't have a set number to cut off when a person is too young or of age to do something to themselves or others. He just wants attention. Everyone hurts. Even those attention seekers that we hear over and over and over again. Maybe this is the attention that they really do need. It's not real. It's easy to pass judgment, but unless we're that person in that situation, we can't ultimately know exactly what they're dealing with. I would say something if it was a big enough deal. Some folks are worried about involving an administrator or involving another parent or maybe even calling 911. But again, if it's someone you care about, or if it's just someone that you don't want to bear the guilt of something awful happening to them or their family losing them, then it's better to act than to wait. I'm waiting for the right moment to say something. It's act immediately, take it seriously, not wait and see. If he was going to do something, why would he announce it publicly? Again, most people do because most people are needing help. And I want to repeat again, there is no entry age. We don't wait and say, well, at 12 or 13 or 15 or 18, that's the age where we take these kinds of threats seriously. There really is no age that we say is too young or too old. We need to let experts who are trained make decisions on those warning signs or threats and go and help the individual in an appropriate manner. Individuals often announce their planned actions. Again, 87% of school shooters had some kind of clue or message. They let someone know something. They left a trace behind them. That's why we know this information and we're sharing it today. I want to remind you again, be an upstander, not a bystander. The majority of us are the bystanders. But when you are the eyes and ears of your school, you know what's going on. There are more students than anybody else in this school. You're the reason why the school exists. If you see it, hear it, know it, then speak up and say it. Say something. What stops us though? What makes us hold back? We all hear it. You know, the tattletale or snitches get stitches. We all hear those things. And I want to talk to you about the difference in that. When someone is at risk of being hurt or others are being hurt, it's not snitching. It's not tattling. It's getting them help that they need or protecting other people. Someone that's trying to get someone in trouble for their own gain or you want to get them in trouble, that's snitching. If it's someone that you are legitimately worried that someone is going to be hurt, that their actions are going to hurt themselves or others, and you're worried about them, you want to help them, that's reporting. That's reporting for safety. And there's a big difference. One is for your own gain. One is to help others. They're selfish and they're selfless. That is part of being a good student, a good citizen. It's something that even as adults, we all need reminders and learning. When you act, you could save someone's life or the lives of others. When you don't act, you're putting yourself at risk and you're putting others at risk for losing their life or the lives of your friends and classmates. Most individuals want to be helped. If they're having a hard time, if there's changes in their life, if there's hardship that they're going through, they need folks that can understand, that can listen to them and help them. That comes in with number 3. Say something. I want you to say it loud and proud. Say something. Say it again. Say something. One more time. Say something. You can do it. You have the power. Say something to a trusted adult. They have experience and knowledge, they care, and they want to help. So who are these trusted adults? Who are people that you can identify and go to? In your schools, we've talked about your school resource officer. If you're an administrator and you're in this room, raise your hand. If you are a teacher who care about students, all students, and you're willing to listen and help, raise your hand. Counselors, social workers, psychologists, assistants, cafeteria workers, raise your hand. Look around. You have people around you all day, every day in this school who care. And if it's past that time, maybe it's your coach after school that you can go to and talk to that you have a good relationship to. Maybe it's your parent. Maybe it's your friend's parent. Maybe it's another family member, a pastor in your church, or a Sunday school teacher. But a trusted adult is someone that you can talk to, that will listen to you, and that will take what you're saying seriously and report the information to the appropriate people. One of the best things you can do, talked about taking screenshots, is having evidence or knowing exactly what was said and when was said to give facts-based evidence for what you're talking about. If a conversation was spoken, try to recall everything that you heard, the important details in it, so that you can give that information over to the trusted adult. So how does it go about? Well, you've got your information, you know how it happened, how it occurred. Maybe you have evidence on your phone from social media. You go to the person and you tell them seriously and directly, I really need to talk to you. There's something bothering me, and I need your help as a trusted individual to help me with the situation. Then you go into explaining what exactly happened. Andy has been acting very differently. This has been going on for over a week. She's reclusive. She doesn't sit with us at lunch. Her mood, her whole disposition has changed. I've seen some stuff on social media she's put. It's very concerning, and I really would like for someone to talk to her and make sure everything is okay with her. And then you find out from her, with her schedule with Andy, where she's going to be, and you convey that to the trusted adult. I believe in third block that she's in B building. I believe she has English during that period. So it's something that you can tell them where to go, or maybe you could refer them to speak to her that evening when she would more than likely be later at home. What I want to do now is ask for a couple volunteers who would be willing to come up and role play this activity. Yes, Alex, come on up. Oh, yeah, and Aaliyah, come on up here. Thank you. You're so brave.
Hello.
Hi. Again, you're Leah. You're Alex. And I'm glad you're able to help me with this role play. Alex, I want you to be the student who has a friend in need. Aaliyah, would you be his trusted adult? Okay, I want to step aside and let you act out these 3 steps of what you would do.
Hi, my name is Alex, and so there's this kid in my class, and he's very depressed, and he doesn't hang out with us anymore. We used to be best buds, but he doesn't do stuff with us anymore, and it's got really tough. And he usually has writing and language arts in e-building, and I've been really concerned about him.
Do you know the parents of this student?
Yes, their names are Bob and Aaron.
Okay. Well, I'll go talk to their parents and see if everything's okay, and I'll talk to the student tomorrow or the next time I can see them. Thank you for telling me. It's really important that you told me this because we need to make sure that our students are safe.
Great. Everybody give them a hand. Guys, that was perfect. And it's simple. You know what you know. You explain what you know, and you ask them to help. It's just that simple. Great job, guys. So again, why say something? It's all about you. It's about keeping you safe. It's about keeping those around you safe. It's your school. It's you knowing and seeing and hearing what's going on around you. And when you do, and it's concerning, and things are weighing on you, and you know there's something that's just not right, then what are you going to do? You're going to speak up, and you're going to say something. You want to see and hear things others don't. You can reduce violence, suicide, and threats within your school. And now we're going to talk about the anonymous reporting system. So maybe you aren't as close with some of your teachers or staff. Maybe it's a time of day when they're not around. Maybe you don't know someone who you can call at night. What will you do in that situation? Well, in just a short period of time, you will be able to have access to an anonymous reporting system where you can leave the information without disclosing who you are, and experts will follow up with appropriate individuals on getting the help where it's needed. There will be 3 ways that you can use the anonymous reporting system. There's a mobile app that you will be able to download and use. There is an 800 number, 844-5-SAY-NOW, or Say Now, or there is the website, saysomething.net. These are 3 different ways that you can access to get individuals help. Now, I don't want you to pull your phones out yet. Keep them put back. But there is an app that you will download. All you have to do is go to your Google Play Store or your iPhone Store, the Apple Store, and search for Say Something Anonymous Reporting System. The app is free. You can download it and you can follow the directions of how to log in with your school. We also have the website, saysomething.net. You can go on and fill out some general information, and that will get the concern that you have reported to the right individuals. There is also tip by phone. Again, 844-5-SAY-NOW, and a crisis counselor will ask you a series of questions. You will need to know your school district and school name, and a description of the situation, as well as much location details as needed for them to fill out this report and assess the situation. At the end of the call, you'll receive a password. This password is important that you make note of and keep, because it will allow you to go back and log in online, and let's say you found out some more details that you weren't able to give during the phone call. You can log back in and go back and add some of that important, necessary information. So again, that anonymous warning system or reporting system is wonderful because it lets you report it without disclosing who you are and gets the help for the individual or individuals that you're concerned about. So again, we talked about these 3 steps of the Say Something program. 1 is look for warning signs and threats. Say it again. Look for warning signs and threats. Next, act immediately and take it seriously. Say it with me. Act immediately, take it seriously. And 3, most importantly, say something. Say it loud. Say something. That's right. And while we're working on this program, bringing it to your school system, your school, there's something that we're challenging your school to do. And that is to start an ongoing student organization called SAVE, Students Against Violence Everywhere. Our Safe Promise Clubs are growing, and there are populations of students in the school that are working to keep the message of Say Something going and utilize many of our other programs. This is a program that's been ongoing for over 30 years, started right here in North Carolina in Charlotte in 1989. We now have over 2,200 SAVE clubs in 48 states and growing. And this program is one that is student empowerment, student-led. It's the student voices that are telling your other peers how, when, and where safety can occur, kind, positive messages, and inclusion for your school. This is a short video about the SAVE program. Pretend we show the SAVE video, but we're not going to. We're going to keep talking about SAVE and the ease of the program, which is to educate, empower, encourage, and engage young people in school safety,
violence prevention programs. Other activities that SAVE clubs can do. My SAVE club participates in these, and our school has been doing it for several years, and the entire student body looks forward to our Start with Hello week, a week of activities encouraging students to get to know each other, talk to each other, be more welcoming, kind, and inclusive. Our Say Something week, which takes these 3 steps, which we've talked about with the Say Something program, and encouraging more people to learn and commit to memory the warning signs and threats that we've talked about today. We plan fun monthly activities. We participate in other weeks such as National Safe Schools Week, National Youth Violence Prevention Week. We have a National Save Day, the 3rd Wednesday of October of every year. We do random acts of kindness. We like to call them random acts of candy in our own club. It's really limitless, the things that your students can come up with creatively to do to make a positive environment and atmosphere for your school, making your school climate one that is safe and secure, free of fear, and conducive to learning. This is our National Youth Advisory Board. We pull students from all over the country to serve being a national voice for the direction of the SAFE program. This is a phenomenal opportunity for young people. It's highly competitive. It's done by application, written essay, and interview. And to be selected to this board, you're going to have a phenomenal resume and college application building opportunity. We have resources available for your Safe Promise Club as well as the other activities with Sandy Hook Promise. You can check out Safe Promise Club at sandyhookpromise.org. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and we have many award-winning videos, including one called Evan on YouTube on our Sandy Hook Promise YouTube channel. Again, I'm Gina Boyd. It is my honor and pleasure to be here with you, to see you as vibrant, wonderful young people who I know are going to look out and care for each other. Remember your warning signs and your threats, and most importantly, you're going to
Say something.
Thank you.